as we have come to know that the drugs are taking long time. Drugs usually interact with the receptors in a high specific and complementary manner. So that is the property of the drug, that we are based on some properties we are developing and designing new drugs. So already Masan sir have explained beautifully about all those. The core of the target based structure based drug design, that is called SBDD in short, is lead generation and optimization. So this is the very basic about the drug discovery. So we should understand about the very core knowledge of a particular target onto which we are targeting the particular drug. Like if we are looking for some cancer drugs, then there are several targeted receptors that are expressing during the cancer generation. Okay, those receptors can be a potential target for us. Like it's a very common type of target in breast cancer, like epidermal growth factor receptors, like and there are some genes responsible for those expression of different targets. Okay, so the next term that comes in the drug discovery is the pharmacophore. So that's what does this pharmacophore mean? The atoms and the functional groups of a molecule that should require a specific pharmacological activity and their relative position in space. That is a very important factor that we have to consider about the biological activity of a particular molecule, and based on the location of the functional group, their angular movement, their chirality, there are several properties of the drug molecule, like physicochemical properties. Based on that, a drug behaves particular at a particular target. 3D arrangement of the functional group that enable a compound to exert a particular biological effect. This example is already been explained by Masan sir, that 3D arrangement is very important. Instead of 1D and 2D arrangements of a particular molecule, as because 3D arrangement gives better idea, better knowledge, better explanation of a particular molecule, and based on that we can go for designing a particular drug. So in silico design, there are few basic technologies, or you can say basic techniques that we are using to design a particular drug. So that can be either a receptor based, that can be either a ligand based, that can be either de novo based, or that can be either the combination of all these three methods. This is called combinatorial in silico drug designing. So in case of receptor and structure based approach, usually what we usually follow is to find a particular active site within a target molecule. Usually if we are looking for a protein as a target, so we'll go for the identification of the active site. Now here I must suggest you to understand about the active site, and there are say a few associated terms. Active site, as we know, where the most of the substrates or most of the molecules that will be processed within the protein, that can be either beneficial, that can be either harmful. Okay, but apart from the active site, there are some binding pockets. So that can be a allosteric binding site, that can be a particular the binding pocket where our drug molecule that we are designing, that can be assimilated. So in that case, what happens usually, by by having the particular non-specific targeting, or you can say as blinded determination of a pocket without understanding the functional site or the active site of the protein, we may lose the particular activity of a drug molecule. Sometimes it has been observed that a very effective drug has been generated. Okay, but in reality, when it is going inside our body, instead of getting it into the active site, instead of getting it to the active target, it is going and bind to the some other part. It may create side effects, it may create lots of problems. Okay, so therefore whenever we are targeting a particular drug, initially we must understand what is the active site. So from the beginning onward, whenever we are starting with the in silico process, we should go for identifying the active site first. With that, at that particular active site, we should go and bind our protein, or we should target our protein, sorry, we should target our drug molecule. So in that case, initially that we have identified the active site, then we should go for the ligand fragment grouping. So that is a very important thing. ligand fragment grouping is anotherly known as fragment based approach. Sometimes what happen, many drugs that are there are multi-purpose drugs. One drug is utilized for some particular disease. Same drug will be utilized from some other disease also. So this that has a multi-purpose drug effectivity. So why this is happening? That's as because that drug contains some fragments from other derived drugs which can act as multiple activity. Okay, so after having those multiple activity or based on the particular fragment based analysis, we should go for the fit to the receptor. Then if it fits to the receptor well, if it is well, then we'll have a particular complex. That means a protein and a ligand or a drug molecular complex. And based on the complex growing, based on the properties of the complex, we can suggest that whether that the drug molecule that we have targeted, that can be a potential drug or not. It is just an approximation. We have got an approximation. Based on that, we'll go for the synthesis of the drug, or if it is naturally available, we'll extract from the nature. Then we'll go for several test trials. Initially, we'll go for like animal cell cultures, the in vitro studies. Then we'll go for on microbial cell cultures. Okay. So if we get a positive response, then we'll go for the next phase on mouse trial or some rodent trial. Then if we get a positive response, then we'll go for the preclinical trials. Then finally on the human trial, even in the hospitals, these trials should be carried out. And finally, after getting a positive response, we have to take the approval from the various agencies, and finally it can be marketed. Okay. In case of ligand based approach, what happened here, the target is unknown. We don't know about the target, we just know the ligands with some specific activities. Now we want to repurpose the drug for a particular disease. So we are targeting many numbers of proteins within a cell, and we are trying to find out the effectivity of that particular drug on those proteins. Okay, whether it will go and bind, whether it will inhibit, whether it will enhance the activity of the protein. We have to check all those properties. And before checking that, we must understand about the pharmacophore identification. I'll tell in the next slide about what is this pharmacophore exactly tells about. So if we get the pharmacophore identification fits well, then we'll go for pharmacophore modeling for the better effectivity. If it fits to the receptor well, then we can suggest it can be a potential drug. If it doesn't, then again we have to go for pharmacophore modification. So in the next type of approach is combinatorial based approach. It is an automated or semi-automated process of synthesizing large quantity of compounds in a small scale. In de novo based approach, it is purely based on molecular modeling, study of binding site, and searching large databases to identify a proper ligand. So whenever we are talking about the QSAR, so we can categorically tell that it can be a de novo based approach where we are targeting large number of data sets of ligands. We are targeting on a particular molecule. Then we are finding based on the model data validation, we can tell a particular drug can be suitable for a particular disease. Different terms that are used in silico design are receptor, host, or lock. Okay, that is the protein or large molecule receiving molecule. Nowadays people are also doing with DNA and RNA, that can also be act as a receptor or host or lock molecule. Then ligand, guest, or key, these are very common terms that are usually associated with protein ligand interaction study or in silico design. That ligand molecule, that is the molecule bind to the receptor. It is a small molecule usually, but sometimes we are using like peptides, sometimes we are using some bigger molecules also, but not big as the target molecule. That means target means the protein molecule. Okay, then the very basic term about docking, it is a computational simulation of a candidate preferred orientation of ligand binding site to a receptor. So this is very interesting to know about. Within a receptor, we have a binding pocket, we have a active site, the ligand will go, but when the ligand will go inside that active site, it may not properly oriented. If it is not properly oriented, there may be a possibility, Vijay Masan sir already mentioned that there may be a possibility that the ligand may come out from the target molecules. If the ligand don't say for the appropriate period of time for its activity, then there is no use of the particular drug. Okay. Then the next term is associated, is the binding mode, that is a conformation of ligand receptor bound to each other. So that is the particular mode. That means particular orientation of the ligand in which it is actively fit within the active site or the binding pocket of a particular target. That is the best fit, we can say it's a best fit. Okay. Then a pose, candidate binding mode, again it is associated with this, about this binding mode, we can call it as a pose on means based on a particular pose, a particular molecule within a particular receptor or within a particular target, it will give a particular binding energy. Okay. Then scoring. So once I said about the binding energy, so binding energy should come with some scores, but binding energy is always associated with some other physical chemical properties like electrostatic energies, like van der Waals forces, like several other properties. Okay. Along, and all those properties will involve to identify the appropriate binding energy, or we can say it in other form as binding free energy delta G of a particular ligand for a particular target. Okay. Then is ranking. Ranking that will classify the ligand most likely and favorably to a particular relation based on delta G of binding. So this ranking is based on the poses. A particular drug may bind within the particular target in several different poses. That means several different orientations. So therefore, based on their orientation, binding energy will be different. So these binding energies, if we categorize, so we can rank accordingly from rank 1 to rank 10, if we are, or rank binding energy 1 to rank 100, based on the higher binding energy always at rank 1, lower binding energy always at the bottom. Okay. Then next is the hit is the ligand with high rank. So that means whenever we are talking about the best hit, that means we are talking about the best binding energy with best rank. That means we are talking about here rank 1. Then we can find this term already in the previous slide. I showed you about the pharmacophore. What does that mean? Pharmacophore is the spatial arrangement of atoms or groups believed to be responsible for biological activity. It's a very important. Chemistry people are very much well known, well learned about this thing, as because a particular molecules are what it is, so it is an organic molecule. Okay. So when the organic molecule is there, we always know about the that is a term associated always, that stereochemistry, rotational bonds, rotational angles, there are several properties that are associated. Okay. And based on these properties, when we are targeting on a particular molecule or a particular disease, so if let us consider we have prepared a good molecule, but the stereochemistry is not good. So already we have learned in our basic chemistry classes, there are two types of form, boat and chair form of glucose, right? So boat and chair form, which one is most energetically favorable? So what does that mean? That is about the stereochemistry tells stereochemistry makes the more energetically favorable glucose. Fine. And similarly, in case of the drug molecules, the stereochemistry will tell us about its biological activity. Then rational drug design. Modulation of specific biological target may have a therapeutic value. QSAR already well explained in the previous session, so I'll not go into it. Then drug design, the design of ligands. That means tailoring of ligands. Sir already have explained in the previous session that tailor-made design is very important. What is the tailor-made design? That means we are going to add new functional groups. We are going to remove functional groups we are going to methylate a particular drug molecule, we are going to acetylate a particular drug molecule, so that we can um, increase solubility, we can decrease solubility. There are several factors. Okay, so whenever we are targeting, we are making a particular drug based on on those properties, like whether it should be soluble, whether it should be orally taken, or whether it should go directly into the blood via injection, intradermal. Okay, so based on all those properties, also I'm sorry, we are designing the drug molecules. So here we come with the docking. So we have we got the very basic idea about the drug designing, what if people usually do. So what does the docking means? So in case of docking, simply in the English term, so that is that docking tells about the interaction. So it attempts to find the best matching between the two molecules. When the two molecules interact, fit to each other, okay, then we can say it's a dock. It's a docking. So, or in a more serious definition, we can suggest that docking is a method which predicts the preferred orientation of one molecule to a second when bound to form a stable complex with overall minimum energy. It is very important that whenever we are talking about the ligand associated association with a particular target or with a particular protein, the total system should be highly minimized. If that means potential energy should reach to its zero, maximum. Sorry, kinetic energy should reach to its zero. Now, what does that mean? If if both the protein molecule and the ligand molecule, they are moving very fast with respect to each other, so in that case, what may happen, that there may be a big collision between them, docking done, and due to high speed of the molecule, means high speed of the drug, it may come out. So therefore we have to minimize the system, so that the entire system, that means the protein ligand complex, should reach to the highest potential energy and lowest kinetic energy, so that the complex should not break up. Okay, so docking is used to predict both strength and the type of signal that is produced. The aim of molecular docking is to optimize the conformation and relative orientation between protein and ligand, and to achieve the delta G with highest minimum energy. That means more towards negative. That means more binding energy, most towards positive, more towards zero in a number line, a number scale. If it is more towards zero, that means binding energy is keep on decreasing. So what is according to the free energy, that if the delta G is more negative, the system is spontaneous. That means the reaction will move forward. So what is happening here? Here simply happening a particular chemical reaction. Here molecule, this drug molecule is a reactant, protein is a reactant, then it will move forward. If the delta G is more negative, then it will move forward to form a complex, protein ligand complex. If reverse, inversely or conversely, we can say that the the dissociation energy will be higher. That means what? Protein ligand will be broken up, and again it will act as a reactant, but there will be no reaction taking place, and that means it is not reaching to the equilibrium. Okay, so it is to study, this docking is study about whether the two molecules interact with each other or not. If so, then what is the orientation that maximizes the interaction with minimum the total energy of the complex? Whatever we have discussed just few seconds back, that this docking will tell us about the orientation, means how that particular ligand molecule or a drug molecule go inside the active site, orient itself, or you can say reorient itself, and finally it will achieve the minimum amount of minimum amount of kinetic energy and maximum amount of potential energy. Okay, so what is the basic goal of doing docking? Given a protein structure and to predict the ligand binding. So from the docking we can get the about the prediction of the protein ligand interaction or protein drug molecule interaction. Why docking is so important? It is of extreme relevance in cellular biology. every femtosecond, picosecond, molecules are interacting inside our cell. Even we cannot even measure. They are very fast. Interactions are going on. Whenever we are taking a particular drug molecule, so it will go and interact with the particular target, and those are in a very scanty little fraction of time. It is the key to rational drug design, as because it can be, you can say, it is a connecting link between the processes of designing a particular drug and to successfully deliver a drug to a particular patient. So initially, when we start with the designing of a drug, so that can be one of the basic tools. Approaches usually follow the basic ways, like uses a matching techniques that describes the protein and ligand as a complementary surface, then simulates the actual docking process in which ligand protein pairwise interaction energies are calculated. Shape of complementarity. It is very important. We must understand what should be the particular shape. If for example, that if the active site or the binding cavity or the pocket is closed of a particular protein, then we are targeting, we have made a very good drug. We know that drug will go and means cure that particular disease, but that active site is closed. The active site is closed. So in that case, what will happen? In that case, we may not get the desired result. So it is very important to understand the receptor's molecular surface, that means solvent accessible surface area. This is a very important term that will associate that is associated with docking, and even in case of dynamics, whenever we are performing, then the ligand molecular surface that matching the surface description. Then this surface description is all about the particular grooves that are associated, whether it is making a very big molecule, small molecule, mediocre molecule, it will tell. Okay, so what is the advantage of it? So it is fast and robust. Disadvantages: it cannot model the dynamic changes in the ligand protein conformations accurately. Why? It is a docking is a stationary process. It is not dynamically achieved, as because there will not be any kind of temperature variance, there will not be any kind of water molecules or buffer molecules, there will not be any kind of ions. Okay, so therefore it is a very clean clean interaction. You can say it's a dry run, there is nothing. So therefore it can give sometimes it may give some error results. Okay, so we have to validate the results also. So next process is, which is very effective to understand about whether the docking process is well done or not. In order to validate, we are doing simulation in a relativistic environment which looks alike our system, our body. This system will contain water molecules, this system will contain any other solvent molecules that we'd like to interact. This system may contain ions, charges, alongside the protein and the ligand. So it gives a more really realistic environment where the particular final interaction studies we can check. So protein and ligands are separated by a physical distance. That is one of the best parameter in case of simulation. Binding takes place only after certain moves, that may be a translation, rotation, and internal changes like torsional angle rotations in its conformational space. Now, whenever we are talking about this translation, rotation, that means what a molecule is just translating its surface. It is rotating either in a clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction. You can tell about the specific rotation. Okay, and the internal changes like torsional angle rotation is a very important thing. Torsional angles, a drug molecule should contain certain number of torsional angles. It has been observed that in some cases, some people wrongly taken the 2D ligands instead of 3D ligands. In that case, I have seen some observation that it gives wrong torsional information, as because torsional angle require a 3D information. Okay, so due to that, torsional angle rotation will not be possible and you will get a wrong information. In every move, total energy of the system is calculated. So therefore, every move from the first step onward to the last step, if you are dividing your simulation into 1,000 steps, okay, so from the number one step to 1,000 step, each and every move will be calculated. So disadvantage is it takes longer period of time for evaluation. Whenever we are taking a longer period of time evaluation, there may be a possibility that we may get a disintegrated result or we may get a very accurate result. Okay, so overcome by using grid based techniques and fast optimizing methods. This method is very fast and optimization. As I told you, this is a very accurate method. So in that case, we'll be getting each and every pose information, even every step information in case of simulation. Factors affecting docking, usually these few factors that are associated with dockings, and they affect heavily about the docking process, like intermolecular forces, bond length, bond angle, dihedral angles, intermolecular forces like electrostatic, dipolar, hydrogen bonding, hydrophobicity, and van der Waals forces. So different types of interactions, like interactions between particles, can be defined as a consequence of forces between molecules connected by particles. So now we can tell here, you can see here it's a simple reaction where drug, let us consider it's a reactant 1, receptor, reactant 2, and if you can we can see whether the reaction is proceed further in the forward direction, it will make a complex. It will make a complex. This is the constant for equilibrium constant for complex formation. Then Kr is the equilibrium constant for reversals. That means a reverse direction reaction will be taking place. Complex will be broken down where the dissociation energy is very high and drug molecule will separate from the receptor molecule. Okay, so based on these constants, okay, we can calculate the affinity of a drug molecule, which is defined as Kas, this affinity of a particular drug, which can be defined as Kf by Kr. Okay, the rate constant, the differences of the rate, basic differences of the rate constant will tell us about the affinity. If the rate of formation towards forward direction is higher, then obviously a complex will form. That means a drug molecule has high affinity for a particular receptor. If Kr is high, drug has the least affinity for the particular receptor. This is simply about the law of mass action. So biological activity of drug is related to its affinity for the receptor. So we can tell that, so based on this receptor affinity constant, we can determine or we can predict about the biological activities. So another energy that play a very important role in case of a protein ligand or a receptor and ligand docking, it's an electrostatic energy. So it involves in integration of overall electron clouds of the two molecules. It's a very important factor. Sometimes it has been observed that very two charged molecules, usually amino acids, there are several types of amino acids. Charged amino acids are also there. Now let us consider we have designed a drug molecule which is a charged drug. So what will happen if both of them, both the active site residue, it is a negatively charged and the drug molecule is negatively charged? What may happen? It may repel. Okay, it may repel. So therefore a particular electrostatic energy will be created that can be favorable electrostatic energy or non-favorable electrostatic energy. Okay, and this kind of energy works at a longest range. So whether there is no bonds between the protein and ligand, even though electrostatic energy may play a role, as because electron clouds both on the protein and the ligands will be there, and that will play this surrounding electron clouds will play a particular role in interaction. So there are basic few types of electrostatic energy come into action during the case of docking, like ion-ion, ion dipole, and dipole-dipole interactions. Then electrodynamic forces. It is an attractive force existing between all pairs of atoms, even between rare gas atoms. Depends on polarizability and number of valence electrons of interacting molecules. Polarization energy involves the interaction of a molecule that is already polar with another polar or non-polar molecule. So we can, for example, we can tell what are those electrodynamics forces, like London forces, weak interactions, or van der Waals forces. So these are non-bonded interactions. Okay, weak non-bonded interactions. Steric forces that will also come into play during the docking process. Each atom with the molecule occupies a certain amount of space. If atoms are too closer, there is an associated loss in energy due to overlapping electron cloud may affect the molecule's preferred shape, reactivity, and activation energies of most chemical reactions. Now, now it is very important to understand about what does that activation energy means. Certain the energy barriers are there in the chemical reactions. Usually, what is the property of the enzyme? Enzyme, what it does? Enzymes lowers the activation energy to move the reaction forward direction. In case of drug molecules, it is not a catalyst like biocatalyst like enzyme, but drug molecules, whenever it is been associated with a particular receptor molecule, there may be a possibility that due to the binding energy, due to the shape conformation change, it may lower the activation energy, it may affect the steric forces. Okay, and therefore what will happen? The reaction move further in the forward direction. That means it will favorable for the complex formation. The steric effect will also determine how and at what rate a drug will interact with its particular biomolecule. This is a very important factor then. Okay, we cannot deny this kind of factors. Solvent related forces. These are forces generated due to chemical reaction between the solvent and the protein and the ligand. So it's a very important factor. Like for example, hydrogen bonds, hydrophilic interactions, and hydrophobic interactions. So this kind of interactions are also play into action during the process of molecular docking. So mechanics of docking. So usually we start with the target molecule. Whenever we are doing a target based approach, we are having a particular target. Now the main question is, from where we'll get the target molecule. So we come to know about from the literature that this kind of particular protein, or a glycoprotein, or like even C-type lectins, different types of receptor defensive targets are expressing at a particular during the particular disease at different phases. Okay, but we have to get its structure. If we do not get its three-dimensional coordinates or the three-dimensional structures, we cannot target the particular drug molecule. So therefore there are few very well-known procedures. First one is X-ray crystallography. This is very well-known well-known method for determining the 3D structure of a particular biomacromolecule. Then proton detected heteronuclear NMR. In this case, this NMR is not always very feasible. It cannot give the appropriate structure of the protein. The resolution of the protein is lesser as compared to the X-ray crystallography. If we cannot determine the structure by experimentally, we can go for homology modeling. If we have the protein sequence with us, or the biomacromolecular molecular sequence with us, based on some template, we can make the structure of the protein, we can predict the structure of the protein, and finally go for docking. Now all these three are very basic type of techniques that are using from the, you can say, here I would like to use prehistoric time. So it's a very old method. These methods are keep on continuing based on their effectivity, but the recent technology that is coming to the market already, that is cryo electron microscopy, that gives a very good resolutive structure it can predict up to 0.8 angstrom resolution of a protein. So very good. In case of X-ray crystallography, people can get up to 1.2 angstrom resolution of the protein. So therefore we can tell from this that the cryo-electron microscopy is giving more better or better result as compared to the X-ray crystallography or any other methods of the 3D target molecule. Okay, so here is the definition of the X-ray crystallography. So how to design this method. So I'm not going about this X-ray crystallography. Then this is about the NMR. I'm skipping this, and this homologous modeling already I have mentioned. So here is the basic outline, how to prepare the structure, prepared protein structure, then how to go for docking. So input, we have a potential drug molecule from the database. So already Vijay Mashan sir explained there are several databases available which contains the information about the ligand. Then we'll go for the interaction studies. We can use them, both this protein, determined structure protein, and the potential ligand molecule as an input to the docking program. Then we'll go for particular search algorithms. Then we'll, based on the scoring function, we'll calculate the function, we'll calculate the final score of the binding. So what is search algorithm? So the search algorithm, it determines all possible optimal conformation for a given complex. That means protein ligand or protein protein. It calculates the energy of resulting complex of EP. I'm so sorry. Resulting complex of each individual interactions. The conformational search strategies include, it also include conformational search strategies, then systematic and stochastic torsional searches about rotatable bonds. That I told you about, the torsional angles are very important for the rotatable bonds of a ligand molecule. Okay, as because in most of the cases we are doing a rigid type of docking. We'll explain it, I'll explain it later what is this. So in that case we are considering protein as a stable complex, rigid complex. Yeah, rigid complex, and the ligand as a small rotatable molecule. Then molecular dynamic simulation. Then we are using genetic algorithms to evolve new low energy conformations. Then ligand flexibility is a very important factor that we should consider. As I told you, some molecules are very much rigid. Okay, so those molecules cannot be a good ligand, but the flexibility should not be very high also, so that it will go and rotate very fast within the binding pocket or active site. And ultimately, whatever, as a result, what will happen, it will not create any kind of interaction with the binding pocket. Okay, so therefore conformation of the ligand may be generated in the absence of receptor or in presence of receptor binding activity. So for that we have to use certain force field and or we can do by knowledge based approach. So receptor flexibility is also can be determined by large number of degrees of freedom. So experimentally, it can be determined multiple steric structures. Then we can go for rotamer libraries of amino acid side chain surrounding the binding cavity. That means getting the just binding pocket. So based on that also we can go for designing about the particular ligand based on the receptor interaction. Now certain sometimes what we can do, we can make a flexible ligand, rigid protein. We can make a rigid protein. Okay, and sorry, we flexible protein and a rigid ligand. In case of that, okay, that is called as induced speed docking, or we can call it as not a non-rigid docking. Okay, so what is about the scoring function that we have already mentioned earlier? It predicts the binding affinity between two molecules. It also predicts the strength of the intermolecular interactions between protein-protein, protein-DNA, protein and drug molecule, and estimates the energy of the force. That means in which way it goes and bind into the inside the binding pocket. Okay. The types of docking, it can be either lock and key type, where we can think that both of them are the protein molecule or the target molecule is a rigid molecule. Okay, another we call this a rigid docking. and induced fitting docking, or anotherly we called it as flexible docking. So there are two basic types. So in case of molecular docking, it is the process by which molecular modeling software fits a molecule into a target binding site, used for finding binding modes of protein with ligands or inhibitors. In molecular docking, attempts to predict the structure of the intermolecular complex formed between two or more molecules. Already we have discussed about this. So in case of whenever we are going for manually for doing this particular docking, what we do is dock or fit a molecule in a binding site. The binding group on the ligand and the binding site are known. Already we have determined from the active site residues, okay, where the ligand will go and bind, defined by the operator. Then binding group in the ligand is paired with its complementary group in the binding site. Then ideal bonding distance of potential interaction is defined, docking procedure is started, and finally we will get the best fit is defined by the operator. Now operator means we are the operator. We will define some parameters. Parameters means we will define that this much of ligand and protein distance should be there, this many numbers of structures should be generated. So there are numbers of parameters that we are adding during the process of docking, and based on that, that is totally user defined. Okay, so do you want a very fast docking, do you want a very slow docking? You know, fast dockings are not always good and appropriate. Slow dockings give very good result. Moreover, there are statistics associated with it, there are algorithms associated with it. We have to check the total population size. That means how many population, how many structures how many conformations will be picked up during the process of docking. Okay, so many things we have to consider during the process of docking before it starts for the effective calculation. The paired groups are not directly overlaid, they are fitted within a preferred bonding distance. As I already mentioned, both ligand and protein retain same conformation throughout the process. So this is a rigid fit. Once a molecule successfully docked, fit optimization is carried out. Now here we are considering the both protein and the ligand molecule as a rigid molecule, they will not move. Okay, so what will happen, it will act as a lock and key. A particular position within the lock is there, within that particular shape and conformation, the key will go inside and bind. We are just considering that in case of rigid docking. Same as energy minimization, simply whenever optimization will be carried out, energy minimization similar energy minimization process will be taken place. Different conformations of the molecule can be docked in the same way and identify the best fit. So we will be getting numbers of conformations, and based on that, already I have mentioned about ranking. Whenever will be getting various conformations, we'll try to find the best rank which has the highest amount of energy, binding energy. Then we'll come to the flexible docking. It tells about, already we have understood the rigid docking, so it has lots of drawback. The drawback of the rigid docking is, since it neglects the conformational degrees of freedoms of ligand. Obviously it is conformational degree of freedom means you will not get how many different types of conformation you will consider. Okay, so we are looking for particular few very less numbers of considers. So therefore what happens, the degrees of freedoms will be less. Okay, in that case, statistically also it will not give very good fit, and therefore will not get very good binding energy score. It also fails to give satisfactory answer for flexible ligand will form different conformations. So therefore a flexible ligand will be there, but it will not give the appropriate energy that we are looking for. So that is a major drawback. Fine. So to solve this, we are having flexible docking sorry, that dock different conformation of ligand as possible in order to get the best result. Flog, it's a method like flexible ligand oriented on grid, is a program that generates conformation libraries called flexibos, contain 10 to 20 conformations of each ligand studied. So therefore see here, the total number of degrees of freedoms are increasing. if we are looking for the very rigid type of docking, what will happen? Numbers of conformations will be very less, so therefore accuracy will be less. But if we increase the number of conformations of the ligand, or very means in a layman's term we can say simply the poses, if we are considering less number of poses, okay, so degrees of freedom will be less amount of accuracy. So docking of flexible ligands, it tells us about various programs that for generate different ligand conformations. It is popular method to fragment the ligand, identify a rigid anchor fragment which can be docked, then reconstruct or grow the molecule back into the anchor. Now, what is that anchor? We'll see this in the later slide. So, example of these programs. This is here is here is the particular drug molecule. We can tell. So now you can see here. Here is the particular functional group that are associated in this particular uh, particular aromatic ring. In that particular aromatic ring, and this aromatic ring will act as an anchor for that drug molecule. Here, these molecules can be replaced, these molecule can be rotated, this molecule can give various conformations, but this anchor molecule will be stable. Okay. So the most rigid fragment is termed as anchor. This already mentioned. Docked by shape complementarity, then flexible parts then added sequentially to the anchor. Then torsion angle is varied for each addition. This increases the partially built structures or the constructs, and selection is of limited number of constructs based on the binding and differences in their structures. Now, what this slide means is that we can design a particular drug based on a particular, you can say, backbone. Here, the anchor means the particular backbone of that drug. So it contains that particular aromatic ring, and based on that, we can keep on adding new functional groups based on various physicochemical properties. We are looking for a particular drug that we are designing, and that drug molecule can be very effective after tailor-made designing. Okay. So whenever I am talking about these segments or the fragments of the drug, that means what? Fragment means, let us consider we can consider here a anchor molecule is there. It's a fragment of a drug molecule. Now we can add new functional group, or we can modify the functional group. So in that case, what is happening? We are adding the fragments, different fragments into the drug to make a new drug. Okay. So you can see the segments are added in layers working outward, and segments in the layer 1 are added sequentially before the segment of the layer 2. To understand this, I'm going back 2 slides. Here it is showing that there is the anchor molecule, this, and in the first layer we are adding few groups into this anchor molecule. If these groups best fitted, then we'll go for addition of the second layer. Now, why this kind of modifications are required? To increase the bioavailability, to increase the bioactivity, to increase solubility, to increase physicochemical properties. As because whenever a drug is going inside our system, inside our body, it will interact with many types of forces, so therefore we can make the drug in such a way that should be it should create a conducive environment for it to interact with the target molecule. Otherwise, what will happen? It may precipitate, or it may remove out, excreted out from our system without being been activated within the particular target. So therefore, the no use of the drug. Okay. And if it precipitates, for example, I'm telling you, so there is a very dreaded drug, but people are using. There is no other option. Yeah. Any doubt? Any doubt? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So therefore, so addition of these particular layers or the fragments layer by layer onto the particular anchor molecule will give a new drug. Now the thing is that whenever we have started analyzing of a particular drug initially based on like docking approach, we have tested a particular drug on a particular target. Now we have modified the drug. So what will happen? That drug may interact with that particular this target molecule, or it may not interact. So the effectivity of that particular drug molecule before going to synthesize the laboratory, we can test with the help of simple docking process. Okay. So Flex, here we can see Flex is a method, or we can say it's a kind of a software that people are using, very popular software, also uses to the anchor and grow method. The anchor is docked according to chemical complementarity. Okay, so what I told just now, that we have a drug molecule, we have tested on a particular target, it is working. Now I want to make more effective, more effective, or with a very less concentration, I want to make a drug that it will work. Okay, it will not create any kind of side effect. Okay, to reduce the side effect, what I'm doing, I'm just adding layer by layer new functional groups, new atoms, so that it can be feasible, it can increase the bioavailability. Okay, so therefore the last line suggests that the anchor dock is according to chemical complementarity. So initially what happens, chemical complementarity determined with the help of this anchor molecule, or the base molecule, or the mother molecule, or the backbone molecule. Based on that, we can keep on adding new groups to have a derived drug which will have more effectivity, more bioactivity. Okay, so docking is determined by intermolecular interaction formed between the anchor and the binding site. The docking uh, the anchor by chemical complementarity rather than steric complementarity has the advantage to cut down the number of possible binding orientation of the anchor. An interaction surface consisting interaction points. So these are very basic things that is considered during the process of docking. So here you can see this diagram is showing a very well understandable way, that here is the anchor molecule, we can see. So it has this anchor molecule has some properties, like it has a hydrophobic group, it has a hydrogen bond acceptor site, it has hydrogen bond donor site. This HBD donor, HBA is hydrogen bond acceptor site, and this will tell us about the total pharmacophore of the drug molecule. Here is the diagram of the active site, and you can see the drug molecule when it goes and bind, it can create the particular this pharmacophore triangle. And you can see if the pharmacophore triangle, it is if it is very much feasible within the particular binding site, we can have a very good bioavailability of the drug, predicted bioavailability of the drug, and this can be achieved with the help of docking. So docking will also give the matching processes that occurs. It matches atoms on the anchor to interaction points in the binding sites. The distance between atoms on the anchor must match the distance between interaction points in the binding site. Now, what does that mean? Like, if these distances are very high, let us consider, for creating a hydrogen bond, the least possible distance should be the highest possible distance should be 2.8 angstrom. So lesser than that, hydrogen bonds will be created, but not less than 1.5 angstrom, and not more than around 2.8 angstrom. It is goes beyond that, then what will happen? The drug molecule interact within the binding site with non-bonded interactions, weak interaction, electrostatic forces, rather creating any kind of hydrogen bond. So therefore, distances are very much important. The anchor atom and corresponding interaction point must have binding compatibility. If the compatibility is not there, then what will happen? Binding will not be achieved properly. Then docking requires the identification of three matched pairs of anchor atoms equal to identify complementarity, pharmacophore triangles, for the anchor and the binding site. Matching processes also, it compares the pharmacophore triangles of the ligand and the binding sites. For a match in a triangle, for the ligand have same dimensions as a triangle for the binding site, but also the concerns of the triangle must have binding complementarity. Although it may give a very good pharmacophore properties, a drug can give a particular very good pharmacophore property. It should fit into the particular binding site within a dog complex, but due to the compatibility issue, not always the pharmacophore will tell that it will go and bind. Complementarity issues are also there. Okay, so if like surface complementarity is there, shape complementarity is there. So whether a shape is not fit to the particular ligand, particular target, so the ligand will be expelled out. Okay, the docking is now carried out such that the anchor atoms are overlaid with their matched interaction point in the binding site. Obviously, so if at the binding site all these properties are matched only for that particular anchor molecule, whenever we have tested previously as a control, we have seen that has particular binding properties. Based on these physicochemical processes, now we have a new drug with the same anchor molecule. So matched interaction will be taken place. This can be overlaid with their matched interaction point in the binding site. So here already I have explained this diagram earlier. The process ensures that the angle requirement for hydrogen bonding are fine with respect to interaction points in the binding site. Type of work people are doing nowadays.